Hi, my name is Norman, and well, I recently started another project involving some prototyping Arduino-ish thing, and yeah, I encountered one big problem. Well, the problem was basically this drawer here. So this is the drawer where I keep all my prototyping things, including my soldering iron and, you know, a bunch of components and LEDs which I've never used. I think I just used one single yellow LED out of these 500 or yeah, 500 pieces. So yeah, there's just a lot of things which I bought and barely use, and also of course a lot of things which I do in fact use. That wouldn't be that much of a problem. The problem is just look at it. If I need just one single thing, I need to, you know, take out all these things and then, you know, look after the cables. There's my multimeter. Switches are here, switches are there. There's no order. Not only it's very annoying, but also every time I'm looking for something, it costs time. This is not a very efficient drawer, and today we're going to change that. And well, for that I bought a couple of assortment boxes. I don't know how they're called. Of course, this is like a larger toolbox. This is where the soldering iron will go. But for all the other components, I bought these little boxes here. You can, you know, customize every single compartment. And I think this is going to be very, very handy to get some order into the chaos. So I bought different sizes. You know, these orange lid boxes came in one box, so this is a set. I wish I had more of the bigger ones and less of the smaller ones, but we're gonna see what we are going to do with these. And well, these blue latch boxes also came in one box. So this is another set, two identical boxes. So let's just see how far we can go with these, and let's get started. Okay, so I tried arranging everything in groups. So up there we got all those switches like here. These are like here. These are limit switches. So these are the end switches at a 3D printer. If the gantry slides here, click, then it triggers a switch. Of course, there are other switches like these press buttons here. Yeah, these are up there, on-off things. Then we got electrical components and driving. So this is these are small stepper motors, which I haven't used yet in one of my projects. These are stepper motor drivers. So these are all these A8444 or 8488, whatever, something with 8s and 4s. All the same motor drivers. I have no idea why I got so many of those, but I do have them. So these are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inside this box here, and another 3 outside. Great. Next up, these are some prototyping boards. So this is a bare conductive touch board. Funny story, actually, I got this 2014, I think. It's from the London Museum of Technology or whatnot, I don't know exactly. And there was an exhibition and I saw it and I thought it was a really fun board, spent way too much money for it and basically never did something cool with it. But the cool thing is it's basically, it's Arduino based, but the difference is that you have 12 inputs which are touch sensitive. So you can either just connect the connections like a regular person would with an Arduino with these pins here, or you can use these touch sensitive things and they would do on-off things with these connections here. And also they are conductive, so if you have electrical contact a wire going from here, the wire gets touch sensitive. So it's a really cool board, but I haven't figured out yet what I'm going to do with it. 7 years later almost, so it's probably gonna stay where it is inside these boxes here. And this is actually on this wrong. So I keep components, started components and unused components, like here this sensor box, power supplies. What's that actually? That's an easy driver, so that's also a stepper driver actually. Some Arduino Nanos, these are sockets for the LEDs. Connections are here. So we actually already are coming to the next section, which is electrical components, like here LED strips. Of course OLED displays. I got like these, I think 128 by 64 and 128 by 32, or I don't know exactly the resolutions of those, but I got two different sizes. Of course I also do have a Raspberry Pi camera, also really cool. These are LED based laser pointer thing, so it's just an LED with a focusing crystal. Really cool. Yeah, I wanted to start a project with those, but I haven't figured out yet how to do that. So maybe we're gonna see something with those in future. They're so cheap, incredibly cheap. You get a laser pointer out of each of those. Like 11-year-old me would be crazy right now to have like, I don't know, 15, 12, whatever, laser pointers for $8, I think it was. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, some batteries. Actually, I do have more batteries. So these are just lithium-ion rechargeable batteries here. So yeah, they're gonna be here. And then LEDs, of course, they also some kind of are component-ish, but because I already have a box for them, they don't need a new home. And here are capacitors and diodes and resistors. Here are things which do not belong in the electrical box, but somehow ended up there. These are basically 3D printer parts. You see, like bearings, radial and linear bearings and gears and all that. They somewhat belong into the movement section, because this is also where I got these belts next to another stepper driver, which I'm never used. So yeah, movement thing goes there. And last but not least, it's like the biggest section, soldering and wiring and all that. So this also needs a little bit more order within itself. So I got this neat little box here. I think I'm going to use it for other parts because reasons. Yeah, these are jumper wires for prototyping. These are regular wires for soldering, solder, two types. For what reason, I don't know. I think this one came with a soldering iron and this one is a lot better. So yeah, of course, multimeter, my old soldering iron, new soldering iron, wire stripper, very important. Yeah, as you can tell, over the years I collected quite a lot of things. So yeah, I think having order here will speed up the workflow, let's call it that way, because you don't need to spend a lot of time searching for parts. And also I know which parts I do have actually now, because funny story, for my new project which I talked about in the beginning of the video, I needed one of those screens and I didn't know I had those, exactly the screens I needed. I already had those, I didn't know, so I ordered new ones and now I got two. So this, I think we are going to avoid this problem in the future. So let's make a little bit room to get space to work. And then we can start sorting. I think the quickest one will be sorting the LED box because it's basically already sorted. There are just a couple of LEDs, I don't know where I got those from, but I'm just going to put them into, you know, their respective color. Of course, it's a different tone. Look at those white ones. In a perfect world, this would matter, but here, in my world, it does not matter. So this one is more like frosted and this one is clear. I'm just going to put them in the same compartment. I think this is sorted enough for me. Here's also a different LED. You can see there are a lot more wires coming out. This is an RGB LED, I think. So that's why I got 4-channel, ground, red, green and blue. And yeah, I don't know what to do with it. I think I'm just going to store it into this box here, because I think it does have one RGB LED inside somewhere. I have no idea. I'm just going to put it somewhere next to this LED, which looks like an RGB LED. Whoop, there you go. There are a lot of LEDs actually. This one is RGB. Yeah, this one's the RGB LED. RGB, RGB, RGB. There you go. Sorted. Oop, now it's even more than 500 LEDs. Great. One thing, these are little sockets for LEDs. You can see this is where you put them in. So this is you can make a very clean finish with that. See, it's going to clean up the edges just in case I need that anywhere. To be honest, you can see this is very old from the label. Today I would just print a proper socket which would house the LED. So this is old time stuff. Still, I'm going to keep it because why not? I don't know exactly how I'm going to manage that. So I'm just going to leave it right now next to the LEDs because it belongs together, and then we're going to see what's going to happen with it in future. So next up, I think we're going to take one of those smaller boxes, because we are going to start with the diodes and capacitors, and I hope they all will fit somehow inside here. This is an assortment of different resistors, and I never liked this having them inside a plastic bag. But good thing is they are actually already sorted, so I can just throw them in here. You can see it takes 2 compartments, one of those. So I'm just going to split them up to prevent them flying around. Just like that. Okay, and then should I sort them? 1M, 1M, 100K. I don't even know. Is that 280? 2K, 1K, 10, 1K, 5K, 1, 220. I think these are the same, are they? Yeah, I think so. 100, 5K, 1, 30, 330. Okay, let's put them in. So the reason why I got so many of those 220s, I think these are the ones you need for building a custom keyboard. Because I built a custom keyboard. Yeah, I was completely wrong. So this is a custom keyboard. I'm not quite happy with it, don't judge me with the layout. This was my first try. I printed the housing and all that. And these are the diodes, which we are going to see in a second. But I thought you need resistors, but of course you need diodes for the matrix to work. Yeah. Let's just get back to sorting. So of course it would really suck to know the color code for each resistor. So we are just going to print a label which says 220. Nice and that. And there you have it. 1 and 2K, 10, 100 and so on. You can read, I think. One special thing is that I put the 10K in one single compartment as well as the 220, because I remember that you need a lot more 10Ks than the other ones, especially when building with Arduino. Correct me if I'm wrong, that I just only have like 3 of those left. Says a lot, and I think in future I'm going to have a lot more 10Ks, because yeah, I have been using them a lot more. That's what I thought. First box done. Man, if I continue with this rate, I need more boxes. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, for the next box we're going to store the remaining parts. How many are those actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think these are about 50 diodes. Not enough for a keyboard because minimum is I think 60 for me and my taste at least. Yeah, I need to get more of those. There you go. Now they got a home. And for the rest I'm just going to throw them into one compartment because they haven't been very sorted, and I have no idea how to sort capacitors, and also it makes no sense to sort them in the first place because yeah, it's not that many. I don't even know what these parts are, seriously. I don't even know where these are from. This is some chips and no idea. Just going to put them in here so that they do have a home, and that's it. All right, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the remaining space here. I think we're gonna find something which more or less is going to fit in here. But because I don't know exactly how I'm going to use the remaining space, I'm just going to put these separators inside so that they don't get lost in case I come up with an idea in a year or something. So, second box done. So next up I think we should start with the wiring thing. So here are heat shrinks, and I also do have some other heat shrinks. Just going to combine those as well to get rid of that rubbish. The diameter is about here. I never really needed longer heat shrinks. If not, I actually always cut them in half or thirds. So it's no big deal to cut them to make them fit into the box here. Anyway. So there you go. So actually this box is really bad. I don't know. See, the latch doesn't really hold up. But because there are just very lightweight things inside, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna keep it the way it is. Actually, but I don't need that. Do I need that? Nah. I can just, I can just use my eyes. So now we have the jumper wires, and as I mentioned before, I do have a box for them, but yeah, that's horrible. That's no order whatsoever. To be honest, I spent way too much time trying to find the correct jumper wire because there are different ones, of course. There's both male and there's both female, and there's you can see already male and female. So there are different types of jumper wires, different lengths and all that. So that's very time consuming. Also, look, what's that? Just cut them in half, and yeah. This is not a good way to work. Also these little pins here, which you use to for prototyping. Yeah, they should also have a dedicated home. Oh, look at that! Another resistor. You know what would be cool if we had a box for resistors? Ha. So now I just need to find out the color code to determine the type, and I think it's also 220. Yeah, it's at 220. There you go. Cool. So that's a different type of connection. Do that later. First I need to get this sorted. Okay, I got most of them sorted. I realized that it makes no sense to sort this one here on the table because there are different sizes and different lengths and all that, I'm going to sort them directly into the box later. And because of the size, there's basically just one choice for the jumper wires, which is this larger box. I hope it works. I hope it's going to be enough, because it's going to be a close fit, I guess. Let's see if we do have enough compartments for jumper wires. Female, female, male, male, and both male and female. It's really, oh, I love that already. Yeah, it's going to save me so much time. It always sucks because if you're looking for a male to female thing, and then you grab one end and think, yeah, that's the one, and then you see the other end, it's the wrong end. So that kind of always was annoying. And now I know exactly, if I grab into that box, I know exactly which type of cable I'm grabbing. So with the other ones, that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, let's say these are the longer ones. They can go in here, male to male. So these are actually different types. These are cheaper ones. So for comparison, these one are the good ones. They have like square heads, and these have the round heads. Technically not much of a difference, but I think this one looks a lot better. Also, I can replace and change them and all that. These are just better. So if you see them online, just go for those. These are less flexible, let's call it that way, in terms of use. But actually it's just a fashion statement, let's call it that way, because on the other hand, these ones came with a lot of different sizes, and that's really, really cool. Poor box, it has so many different compartments, and actually we are just going to use one thing, I believe. You can just make short ones and medium ones. So I think they're going to flatten out over time, because they have been stored like that and for a long time. You know, they have been cramped up there, and I think they're going to straighten out over time, and it's going to make ordering a lot more pleasing than right now. I'm trying to bend them back, but of course it doesn't work really well. It has memory, you know. So this is very time consuming, but I think it's going to be worth it, and also speed up my work. What's that? That can go straight to, yeah, straight to jail. You know, back then when I didn't have that many jumper wires, I actually handled them as a very, very precious thing. But now, as you can tell, I got a lot of them, and that's why I'm throwing out the ones which are a little bit damaged. You know, if I find any, I threw out a couple of those already, in case you noticed. And this one got molten, the plastic, because I was soldering right next to it, and actually also the pin got removed. But I kept it because I thought, well, precious little jumper wire, but you know, go away. And here we are. So we got all different types. Luckily for the smaller ones, I only have male to male adapters. Small, medium, female to male, male to male, female to female. So this allows me to do everything and do everything quickly, which is more important than doing everything. If that makes any sense. Close it up, and so I know it's obvious what's inside, because you know it has a transparent lid, but sometimes I don't know when this thing is going to sit somewhere up high on a shelf and you can't see it from the top. It really helps. Okay. So this is the moment where the battery of my main camera ran out, and I unfortunately forgot to recharge the replacement battery. So I ended up using my actually my photo camera, which I don't use for video for good reasons, because it's not very good at it. And well, I can deal with horrible video footage, but the audio was just beyond repair. I tried pushing everything I could, but it was just unusable, clipping everywhere and all that. So seriously, it's for your best if we do the next part while I'm using this camera with a voiceover, and then once my main camera is back in business, we're gonna go back to business. I'm just going to assume that you more or less got the gist of what I was about to say when my camera died, so I'm not going to repeat that. For the next step, we're coming to that large toolbox here. This is where I'm going to put all my soldering things inside, including my soldering irons, because I have an old and a new one. It has a tray inside, which I'm not going to use. And here you can see me realizing that everything was out of focus. And yeah. So now it fits inside. No worries. I got a bunch of Velcro straps and I'm going to use one of those to tie up the cables of my old soldering iron, because I think I'm never going to use it unless my new soldering iron breaks. This way it's going to be out of the way in a very nice way. And well, you see me not tying up the cables of my new soldering iron because I don't want to fiddle around with the cables all the time and tie them up every time I use it. And if that's the only cable inside there without which is not managed, it's more or less also some kind of management, isn't it? Because there's no way it can tangle up with other cables. I'm using the old box from the jumper wires to put the cable of my multimeter inside. That way they are stored very nicely. And the multimeter will be somehow next to the box. I don't know exactly how I'm going to group that. And this is actually one of those third hand things, octopus arms, call it what you want. And I don't like this one in particular because these clamps always fall off, and that's kind of annoying. I don't recommend getting one of those, or at least not one of the lower priced, because mine is lower priced and it's really cheap. I figured I'm going to put the solder outside the box because that's where some space was left. But unfortunately, these compartments were too small for the larger spool I got. So I had to, let's say, help a little bit to make it fit. And well, eventually it did. It's really cool. Okay, back again. I think for the next step, we are going to sort all these parts here. So this is the electrical components thing. So for example, displays, little OLED displays, mentioned it before. And for that, I think we are going to take one of those larger boxes. So I think these ones are usually for screws, but of course, I'm not gonna use that for screws. Let's just start with those. So these are power supplies. I have almost Arduinos, just go there. Laser pointers. They already have a nice housing. I don't know. Yeah, they would actually fit to the LED box. Especially here, looking at those LEDs. I need a larger box so that I can put everything inside, because those laser pointers already have a nice box. That's more or less solved. There you go. So for switches, I think I'm just going to you know, have one component box and another switch box, because I have so many different types of switches. See, these are like these click switches, limit switches, like pilot cockpit switches. I have no idea. They probably all do have a very nice name, but I don't know that. So these are just buttons. These belong together. So I have many, and I think it makes a lot more sense to make one dedicated switch box, because I rarely need components, because you know, you just need them once per build. This is more or less like where I'm going to store the leftover components. But usually when I start a build, I just order the least amount of components I need for the project and include them into the project. I think I won't need that box that often. But on the other hand, these switches here, I'm going to need them a lot, because you know, I'm going to need this in every project, and this not in every project. If that makes any sense. I'm gonna take one of those little ones, and yeah, already I know they're not going to fit. That kind of sucks. I think I'm going to need a new box. For now, the switches go into this one here, and gonna stay there for a while. So next up, Raspberry Pi camera. I'm just going to put these pieces together, starting from top left. There we go. There's another one. Same thing, but different, but same. This is another type of power supply, micro USB, all-in-one charging and power supply thing. So you can hook up a battery to that, and then it's going to charge your battery and also power your setup thing. I haven't used it so far, but I hope I'm going to use it one day. So another one. Displays. I'm not very sure about this anti-static thing, because I mean all those components are wrapped inside this foil, but this one isn't. And that's an OLED display and just flying loosely inside here, and I think I prefer them not being inside the wrap. People are going to hate me probably. OLED displays in here, keep those pins. Different type of OLED displays. Yeah, just open it, man. Motor driver and belt gears. So this is going to go into the movement box, but this one is an electrical component. So this is another stepper driver. So I was trying out different types of stepper drivers. So this one is a very, very strong stepper motor driver. This one is, let's say, an easy to use stepper driver. It's in the name Easy Driver, but also I don't know for what project I used that, but I wanted to try it out, and I did. The ones which I use the most are these little ones here. I don't know, mentioned it before, whatever. So the stepper drivers which I use the most are these little ones, because they are usually being used in 3D printers, lower priced 3D printers at least, because nowadays you know, even the cheaper ones come with silent stepper drivers, but this is the ones which came with the old school printers. Let's go that way. And I still have a bunch of those because you know, by the way, this is a little heat sink. You glue that on the chip. But I had a bunch of those because time to time they die, and then you're gonna replace them. Or for example, this one here was actually a box with silent stepper drivers, and I upgraded them, and they are currently inside my printer. So the old stepper drivers are, yeah, you get the point. Let's just hope that static discharge is never going to hit this box here. Yeah, I'm going to do it, man. It's so much nicer to have, you know, bare components inside here. Maybe I'm going to regret it one day. Okay, found another box with things. These pins are just going to inside here, and these, not sure if I'm going to keep them. I have a bunch of rechargeable batteries here. I don't know, I salvaged them from old parts, pieces. This one was from a headlamp which broke, so I've got a bunch of rechargeable batteries. They're gonna go inside here. Yeah, the newer batteries also will have a newer home. So because we have so much space right now, I'm not going to worry about grouping them, but of course one day maybe if this is going to get too crowded, you know, these batteries are going to go together. Okay, so these are all the parts left which don't have a home. I found an empty box which is now the LED box, so I put all these LED strips here inside together with all the other things. This stuff here, this is called EL wire, which is the short form for electroluminescent wire. Basically, that's really cool. Just give me a second. So this is EL wire, and it has a battery pack, and just look at it. How cool is that? This stuff is like serious sci-fi spaghetti. I thought it would be cool to have this EL wire for, I don't know, some costumes, cosplays, because that mask video has been doing very well, and I thought this would be cool for a next generation mask. But I haven't come up with an idea yet to incorporate that into a cool design, but this is what EL wire is. So if you want that for one of your costumes, you probably have seen some of those online. EL wire is what you're looking for. Okay, the battery packs are also going to find their way somehow inside here. Oh, you noticed this one is new. I actually tidied up and ran out of memory, so yeah. These one here are just regular LAN cables. So a LAN cable is a standardized connector with 8 lines, connections, whatever. So if you need a setup with 2 stations, just like one base and one slave, let's call it that way, and you want to connect them easily, consider using a LAN cable, because you can easily plug in and plug out without any hassle. I actually didn't really plan on grouping this thing, but right now we have like a power section here, and whatever that is, that's a prototype. It's going to go into the Lego brick, so we get a little bit more space. Power, not power. So we have 3 power supplies now. They are gonna need 3 compartments. Well, so for right now, it doesn't look like it's getting too close, but you know, I can always put these displays together. I can put these power supplies together. Also, yeah, you know, these are both motor drivers. Wouldn't mind putting those together. So there's a lot of room for more leftover components. That's gonna work perfectly fine for a long time, probably. Maybe not. So, and as I mentioned before, this Lego brick lunchbox here is going to be the prototype house for projects, which I don't even know what they're doing here anymore. I don't think that I should throw this away, but also I don't know exactly right now what I'm going to do with it. So just going to put that into this box, and should be fine for now. Whatever. Just close it, out of sight, out of mind. So I laid out all my wires which I have. So these are the soft and flexy ones. These are the single strand, less flexible wires. I noticed that this actually does have a very large footprint. Usually I didn't want to use this box, but I think I'm going to, you know, hit 2 birds with a stone, or how do we call it in English. So I'm going to use this larger box for all my soldering wires, but also for all those switches here, because I rarely need these switches without needing these wires, and vice versa. So it makes a lot of sense to put all of them into one big box. You know, using this box here means that I don't need to order new stuff, and that's a good thing, I think. So let's make use of that, of this. Okay, so got this box here. As you can see, all those switches, these are the switches, these are the fittings, or I don't know, things to attach these switches to any surface, more or less. As you can tell here, I hacked the system a little bit. Put one of these dividers the wrong way in, and somehow it works. I don't know exactly if this is a viable solution to use these wires. Let's just assume it is. Time will tell again. So I think this is a constantly optimized system. In future, I'm going to optimize things. If I don't like it, I'm going to change it, as always. But for now, I think it's gonna be all right. So clearing one of the other boxes, the movement thing actually found a new home. So the belts and the gears and all that, bearings, yeah, they now have a home, which is great. Yeah, this box is going to get a lot fuller once I buy all the movement parts for the new 3D printer, but as I mentioned in the other video, still a lot of time. But for now, we have a little bit more space for all the parts which are up and coming, hopefully. So basically, there you have it, that's it. Actually, I have 2 of those little ones left. I'm going to keep them because I definitely will need more boxes. I was hoping to have some leftover boxes for the other drawers, which definitely also need a little bit of attention. But yeah, as you can tell, there's so many things, more than I expected actually. And it's good to know that I went through all that, because now I know how much I actually have. And yeah, I don't accidentally order new parts. Let's put the boxes into the drawer. Well, that's pretty neat. That's almost a miracle how much space you can get by ordering your stuff and removing half of the content of this. Yeah, I didn't remove too much, but I removed all the miscellaneous things, and also you know, boxes with loads of wires, which, you know, these boxes have been like that for months, if not years. I just assumed that the state of these boxes wouldn't change, so I just took the entire contents and threw them out, because yeah, that's how it is. Right now we only have useful things inside this drawer, which is the whole point of that drawer. So you put all those tools inside. If I want to start soldering, I can just grab this entire toolbox here and go on my way. Same, probably I need to grab both of those. Actually, we could make a little test here. And they're very small parts. Yeah, that didn't work. So as you can tell, here I shouldn't be doing that too much with these cheap things, at least. You go back you go. So you get what you pay for, right? So that was a very cheap box. I'm okay with that it doesn't work very well. But most of the times it's going to travel from this drawer over there to that table. So no biggie here. These two will be my soldering things if I need any. So really cool. Other than that, everything more or less very accessible. And if not accessible, at least I can, you know, I'm gonna find it very quickly. Was it worth it? Yes, definitely worth it. It's gonna save so many nerves. But before we end this, little quick tip here: save those plastic bags if they're in a good condition. So I have a plastic bag full of bags just from tidying out all those parts here. They always have been very handy. So for example, if you want to pack drugs, kidding. For example, they are very handy if you want to just pack small things together and send them to your friends, or if you want to store, for example, let's say I built something and I want it to be a nice compact package. I can use these plastic bags and put them inside, and it's, yeah, tangle free. I actually already have a bag of bags, so I'm just going to put them together. Where is it? There you go. So I think that's enough organization for ever, probably. Let's see how far it goes. These drawers, I'm gonna tackle them one day. That being said, thanks for watching. You guys know how YouTube works, so see you in the next one. Bye bye.